The world does not wait for you to be ready. It breathes fire while you hesitate. It throws storms while you blink. And it never once apologizes for the damage. You were born into a battlefield, not of swords and shields, but of doubt and noise, distraction and decay, of comfort disguised as kindness, and silence that feels like failure. In this age, the warrior wears no armor. He fights unseen wars, inside his chest, behind his eyes. He wakes up tired and still chooses to stand. He carries wounds that no one claps for. He bleeds quietly into his routine. And still, he breathes. He fights. He lets go. And he repeats. This is not poetry. This is survival. This is the rhythm of a man who refuses to break. Because the world will not bend for your pain. The mountain does not lower itself for your legs. The river does not slow down for your fear. You rise, or you drown. You sharpen, or you rot. There is no third path. So breathe, not like the cowards who gasp for comfort, but like the warrior who inhales fire and exhales steel. Feel the weight in your chest. Let it settle. Do not run from discomfort. Master it. Invite it in like an old enemy you've learned to respect. Because the one who breathes through the fire commands the flame. Your mind will lie to you. It will scream that you're not enough, that you should rest before the war is done, that you are broken. But understand this, the mind is not your master. It is a blade. And like all blades, it dulls in comfort and sharpens in repetition. Strike it against silence. Strike it against cold mornings and hungry evenings. Strike it against pain, and let the sparks remind you, you are not your weakness. You are what you do despite it. Fight, not with rage. Rage is fire with no direction. It burns you faster than your enemies. No, fight with stillness. Fight with presence. Fight like a stone in the middle of a flood, unmoved, unbroken, unwavering. A warrior does not fight to win. He fights to become. He sharpens himself through struggle. He carves himself with discipline. Every repetition is a cut. Every sacrifice is a scar. Every refusal to quit is another layer of armor forged in silence. Understand this. You will be tempted by softness, by ease, by false victories that require no discipline. But ease is a liar. It calls you king, then robs your spine. It calls you free, then shackles your soul. Never bow to ease. Let go of what no longer serves you, of the approval you beg for, of the shame you carry like armor that no longer fits, of the anger you cling to like it gives you shape, of the past you cannot bleed into the future. Let it all fall. Burn the masks. Bury the version of you that flinched, that begged, that waited, that needed the world to notice. And when the fire is done, stand in the ash, with no name, no story, just presence. And then, breathe again. You are not here to be whole. You are here to be forged, to be broken and reforged again, to walk through the fire with open eyes, to kneel only to truth, to rise, not because it's easy, but because it's right. This is your rhythm now. Breathe. When the world crowds you with noise, breathe. When failure stalks your steps, breathe. When you are alone in the dark with your own voice, breathe. Fight. When your hands shake, fight. When you want to give it all up, fight. When no one claps and no one sees, fight. Let go of the lie that says you need to be perfect, of the need to be understood, of the chains you put on your own mind, and repeat, not once, not twice, but forever, until death calls your name and finds you standing, blade drawn, breathing, still. And when death does come, let it find you mid-strike, not praying for more time, but proving you used every second you were given. The man who breathes through fire does not fear the end. because he has died 1,000 times already. Every time he let go of what made him weak. Every time he stepped into silence instead of comfort. Every time he walked alone rather than kneel for false peace. The old you? He died when you chose discipline over distraction. He died the moment you stopped chasing applause and started chasing precision. The moment you realized that feeling good was never the goal, but becoming good, becoming sharp, unshakable, a force, not loud, not praised, but immovable. You don't need more motivation. You need to bleed for what you say you want, to suffer the silence of mastery, to disappear from the noise, and re-emerge with scars that speak louder than words ever could. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is the proof, the signal that something sacred is being tested. Pain is where softness dies and resolve is born. Most will run from it. You will run straight into it. You will meet it head on, and it will teach you what comfort never could. Who you really are is revealed in pressure, not in praise, not in peace, but when everything inside you is screaming to stop, and you move anyway. So move, with your back straight, your fists calm, your breathing slow. You do not need to scream. Stillness terrifies the world more than noise ever will. Be like the mountain that watches storms come and go, but never kneels. Be like the wolf that waits in the shadows, calculated, controlled, patient. Be like the blade that does not boast, but cuts through illusion with one silent stroke. Because this world is built to dull you, to sedate you with false urgencies, to drown you in artificial fires. But the warrior knows, the real war is not out there. It is within. You fight to hold your mind still while chaos dances in front of your eyes. You fight to remain grounded while the world spins stories of fear and urgency. You fight to stay silent when your ego wants to scream. This is the deeper path, the lonely path, the path where no one claps for you, where no one sees the hours you burn behind closed doors, where no one offers you medals, only mirrors. And still, you walk it. Because you are not here for applause. You are not here for comfort. You are here to become fire, not the kind that destroys, but the kind that forges. Let go of the myth that says you need to be understood. You are not a brand. You are not a performance. You are a man on the path of stillness, of inner command, of precision. Detach from the need to be liked. Detach from the timeline they sold you. Detach from the noise and make space for clarity. Because clarity only comes to those who walk alone through the fog, without begging for the sun. The warrior does not curse the darkness. He becomes the flame, and the flame must be tended every day, through repetition, through structure, through ruthless honesty. Discipline is not about suffering. It's about remembering that your time is short, that your fire will burn out, that every breath you waste on doubt is a breath you'll never get back. So breathe with intention, move with awareness, strike with focus, and walk with death at your side, not behind you, but beside you, like an old companion, like a reminder that nothing is guaranteed except this moment. And in this moment, you have only one command: breathe, fight, let go, repeat. You will be tempted to slow down, to convince yourself that maintenance is enough, that you've earned softness. But remember this: softness is the start of decay. When the blade is no longer sharpened, it rusts. When the body is no longer tested, it weakens. When the mind is no longer disciplined, it begins to betray. There is no arrival, no finish line where the warrior is done. Only the rhythm: breathe, fight, let go, repeat. Every day, without applause, without witnesses, without the illusion of rest. Not because you hate ease, but because you know what it costs. Look around you. See the hollow eyes of those who stopped training, who surrendered to comfort and called it peace, who buried their ambition under layers of distraction, who rot in place, perfectly safe, perfectly numb, perfectly dead inside. You were not built for that. You were built to carry weight, to endure the fire, to walk into fear and come out colder, to shape yourself in silence while the world chases noise. Because your soul does not want ease. It wants expansion. It wants war. Not against others, but against the limitations within you. So keep cutting, through your excuses, through your hesitation, through the softness that whispers, "You've done enough." You have not done enough. You have only begun, because every level you reach demands a deeper shedding, a tighter grip on the essentials, a colder detachment from the unnecessary, a higher tolerance for solitude. This is why you train, not for show, not for others, but to become the kind of man who does not fold when the ground splits beneath him. To become the kind of man who stares loss in the face and breathes deeper, who moves forward not because he's fearless, but because he's faithful. Faithful to the path, faithful to the code, faithful to the rhythm. You are not chasing motivation. You are obeying a law written in your bones. The law of the old path, the one walked by men who buried their comfort and sharpened their breath until it sliced through failure. They did not beg for ease. They did not whine for validation. They did not explain themselves. They moved like shadows, and their presence was a command. You carry that same blood, so do not crawl, do not wait, do not ask permission. Stand, move, execute. Breathe, not for survival, but for sovereignty. Fight, not for victory, but for virtue. Let go, not to lose, but to lighten. Repeat, not because it's easy, but because that's the code. And the code is the only thing that keeps the soul from rotting. You don't need a map. You need fire in your chest and silence in your mind. You don't need guarantees. You need to act anyway, to walk into the unknown with eyes open and no demand for mercy. You don't need to be understood. Let the world misunderstand you. Let them think you're cold, distant, obsessed. Let them laugh at your silence and question your absence. You are not here to be liked. You are here to become something they cannot break. And so you breathe, because you choose to remain calm when others panic. You fight, not with fists, but with relentless presence. You let go of the weights that were never yours to carry. And you repeat, because you are not done. You will never be done. You are the rhythm now. You are the stillness inside the storm. You are the man who does not flinch, who does not beg, who does not fade. The mountain bows to no wind. The sword questions no target. And the warrior, he doesn't wait for perfect conditions. He becomes the condition, so rise, not tomorrow. Now sharpen your breath, still your hands, set your jaw, and walk back into the fire. No explanations, no noise, just rhythm. Breathe, fight, let go, repeat, until the last breath, until the blade drops, until the silence takes you home. And even then, they will whisper your name like the wind whispers through stone. Not because you were loud, but because you never broke.